أعتذر لكم مجددا على التأخير أستاذ. حفظكم الله أستاذ. إذن على بركة الله، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، الصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين. إذن نبتدئ هذه الجلسة العلمية المبرمجة ضمن فعاليات الندوة الدولية البحثية في موضوع الزكاة والعمل الخيري والمالية الإسلامية سنة 2022. ولنا الشرف في هذه الجلسة أن نستقبل أساتذة ما شاء الله من أهل التخصص ومن أهل العلم الكبير في مجال الندوة. وسيترأس الجلسة الأستاذ مصطفى عمر من الجامعة الإسلامية بماليزيا، وسيصاحبه في هذه الجلسة في المناقشة الأستاذة رجاء أبو العيش من مختبر الهندسة المالية الإسلامية، مديرة مختبر الهندسة المالية الإسلامية بالمدرسة المحمدية للمهندسين بجامعة محمد الخامس، والأستاذ عبد الإله العطار من جامعة محمد الأول بوجدة، والأستاذ محمد الشريف العمد اسطنبول صباح الدين الزعيم. وستقدم الورقة الطالبة الباحثة المجدة والمجتهدة، لأنها شاركت معنا بمشاركة متميزة السنة الماضية، الطالبة الباحثة فاطمة زهرة المسكيني، وسيكون لها ورقة باللغة الإنجليزية. سأترك الأستاذ هو الذي يعلن عن العنوان. لكم الكلمة أستاذي مصطفى عمر أن تسيروا هذه الجلسة باللغة الإنجليزية. أنا فقط تطفلت باللغة العربية حتى أعطي للإخوة المتابعين كذلك فرصة لكم أن تقدموا بالإنجليزية الضيوف وكذلك الطيبة. لكم الكلمة أستاذي وشكرا.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. أما بعد, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the organizers, particularly my brother Dr. Munsif, for such a very nice introduction. And mashallah, we pray to Allah that this conference, which is a very, very important conference in relation to zakah, waqf, Islamic philanthropy, Islamic finance. These are very, very important conferences, and they are current today. Today we need such conferences, and especially when it is meant to promote and nurture our young scholars in this area. This is something which we really commend very, very much. And we thank the organizers for taking such initiatives where so many participants and so many co-organizers across the world. And I think this is something commendable from our part. Now, this is a very interesting session that we have today, where we have a presenter from a young researcher by the name of Fatima Zahra MESKINI. She will be presenting on the topic, building a new model of insurance based on waqf and blockchain, a strong social impact and full transparency. This is the topic of her session. And she will be given around 10 to 12 or 15 minutes for presentation. And then the floor will be open, and we have with us around 3 discussants to join the session. We have Dr. Sharif, Muhammad Sharif العمري, and then we have Dr. Rajaa العيش, and then of course we have Dr. الإله العطار. They will be joining us to discuss these papers. So without further ado, and in the interest of time, inshallah, it gives me the pleasure to invite the student or the researcher to be precise social impact and full transparency. You're welcome, Sister Fatima, to present.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Can you hear me?
Wa alaikum assalam.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm so glad and so happy to participate today in this international research conference. I'm Fatima MESKINI from the Islamic Financial Engineering Laboratory from MOHAMMADIA School of Engineering, and I will present today our work entitled Building a New Model of Insurance Based on Waqf and Blockchain, a Strong Social Impact and Full Transparency. So to tackle this subject, this topic, we have chosen the following plan. First, we will introduce our topic. Then we will build together a strong model of waqf takaful. After that, we will have some simulations and analyze the results. After that, we will see the relation between waqf insurance and pandemics before we conclude with some recommendations. So let's get started. So we made a survey or a poll and we asked more than 120 people from Morocco, from different profiles, different ages, from 20 to 60 years old. We asked them if they are satisfied or not about the services provided by insurance companies. And the results shows clearly that the majority is unsatisfied. The majority complains about three main aspects: the ambiguity of the activity, prices are expensive, and contracts are not clear and quite complicated. Imagine only 15% are fully satisfied about insurance, about the reimbursement. And many people use insurance only when it is compulsory. So this is real problem. We really need to think about a new model of insurance. More than that, since December 2019, since the first case of coronavirus emerged in Wuhan in China, many restrictions followed. Lockdowns of nations, ban of travels, closure of offices, which causes a real social and economic crisis all over the world. This is another reason why we should think and review the already existing insurance services to make it more relevant and to make it have a social impact during examples. But there are many examples exploring the relationship or the potential applications of blockchain in insurance, especially in the conventional sector. But we also have some many researchers in blockchain and Islamic finance. And as long as we will tackle waqf takaful, we have papers discussing the interest of waqf takaful rather than using the other types of takaful. Some others are discussing the challenges relating to these types. And for blockchain, we have already waqf chain, which is a blockchain developed by Fintera, but it's just blockchain of waqf, not waqf takaful. So that's why we will build together a model, and this is our methodology. First, we define the problem. Then we build a model based on blockchain smart contracts. We study the advantages and disadvantages of this model to try to find solutions and to improve the suggested model. After that, we will study the insurance during normal time using multi-agent based modeling, then during pandemic, as example, coronavirus, and to come up with some recommendations and conclusions. So from the beginning, we talked about blockchain. It's a long topic. Unfortunately, we don't have enough time, but I will just give a brief idea about it. So blockchain is actually a chain of block, but a chain of block with really specific characteristics that makes it a decentralized, transparent storage and data transmission technology. Actually, it is a very powerful tool. Each block is encrypted and related with a hash with the previous block, etc. And once a block is created, we can no more change it. But just keep in mind that blockchain is decentralized, secured, transparent, and confidential. So how it works briefly. So, for example, Sarah wants to send a certain amount of money to Ali. This transaction is broadcasted in the network. So here comes the role of miners who will verify the transaction, the identity of Ali, the identity of Sarah, if he really has the amount in his wallet, and after that, miners will try to give a hash, which is a kind of a cryptographic print to the block. And once the block is created, the other miners validate it, and it is added to blockchains, and so on. So this structure enables to find solutions to many problems, such as the double spending problems, etc. So it's just a clear idea about blockchain. If you want more details, you can ask me later. So we will implement our insurance in blockchain, but also we make use of smart contracts. Actually, smart contracts exists before blockchain, but they reveal their full potential with blockchain, such as Ethereum. So what is smart contract? It is an automatic contract. Contracts written like a program code. You have conditions and actions to execute. For example, if it doesn't rain for 3 months, then the farmer will be reimbursed. And what we call Oracle is going to search in a database and to check if the condition is valid or not. If it's the case, reimbursements or the actions will be executed automatically. And that's what we suggest to use in our insurance model. Now, we talk about takaful. Let's say that takaful is the Islamic insurance, and there are many differences, such as policyholders are considered as participants, riba is absent, investments are done in only halal sectors. There is no gharar, no speculation, etc. So, of course, as long as we are dealing with an Islamic form of insurance, we choose takaful. We have many types of takaful: wakala takaful, mudaraba takaful, hybrid model, and waqf takaful that we have chosen today. What is waqf? Waqf is a dedication of property given by Muslims person or a group of Muslims to religious or charitable purpose for an unlimited period of time. It is irrevocable, and the usufruct is permanently dedicated to the benefit of mankind. That's why we have chosen this type of takaful, which is waqf takaful, because it has the same goal as takaful, which is installing mutual aid in the society. So, in our model, we suggest that we will have transparency, which is guaranteed with blockchain. You make policyholders have access to history of refunds, current investments, etc. Rapidity thanks to smart contracts, profit sharing, etc. Advantages related to the pandemic cases. We have one of the principles of Islamic finance is risk and profit sharing. And we all know that in coronavirus, some sectors have benefited positively. So we need to have this risk and profit sharing aspect. And of course, digitalization is very interesting during coronavirus time, as long as we really need social distancing, etc. So that's why. So, let's move to the blockchain. There are many types of blockchain. We suggest to use consortium blockchain, neither totally public blockchain or private blockchain, but consortium blockchain with some trusted nodes, which are the company's manager, but also many rights or many accesses will be given to customers. They will have reading rights to see current investments, historic of refunds, etc. So, can we really rely on this model? We have some challenges that we try to solve, such as, can we rely on automatic contracts? What about the human factor? Are we really going to be using cryptocurrency, etc.? So to answer to these challenges, first, to have reliable automatic contract, we suggest using several oracles instead of only using one oracle. And as I said earlier, oracle is the entity that is going to check in the database if the condition is valid or not to execute the code. And to also establish a scoring system for oracles. At the end, we will have only reliable oracles. For the second problem involving the human factor, yes, we will keep it. It won't be 100% automatic. We can have some, for example, certified doctor connected to the blockchain, and the blockchain, of course, guarantee the identity of the doctors who will validate or validate some transaction just to not make it fully automatic. The use of cryptocurrency, it's not compulsory. We can use other things such as some points, loyalty points, or other things that could be changes later to normal currency. So cryptocurrency is not a problem. We really just need a blockchain. Okay, now let's move to simulating our model. We have chosen to simulate or see how our model is going to behave in real conditions. So that's why we have chosen multi-agent based modeling using NetLogo to express the interaction between people and between the insurance companies, etc. So we will model many agents, mainly companies, conventional companies, and the smart insurance we suggest. I will call it smart insurance. So we will model this by using NetLogo. What you see here is insurance companies, the conventional in gray, and the smart insurance we suggest in green. Okay, and the insurance companies have characteristics that we've deduced logically and from the pool. The main characteristics is cost, rapidity, conformity, transparency, proximity, and reputation. And for policyholders, the main characteristics are age, religiosity, and wealth. So me as the policyholder to choose the smart company suggested or the already existing companies, I have chosen the decision-making tool, which is the decision matrix. The principle is quite simple. For example, if you want to buy a car, you have, for example, what we call alternatives. For example, alternative will be, I don't know, Mercedes, Toyota, etc. And we will have some criteria. For example, the price of the vehicle, the comfort, the speed, I don't know. You have some criteria, and depending to this criteria and the importance you give to those criteria, you are going to choose. So same here. For cost, rapidity, transparency, reputation, conformity to Sharia, and proximity, we have given some points to smart insurance and conventional insurance, and I can explain them later if you want. So, and depending on the profile of the person, for example, if you are young, religious, and poor, young, it means you will give importance to rapidity, okay? Religious, you will give also importance to conformity to Sharia. Poor, you will give importance also to money, to the cost of the service provided. Or if you are, for example, old, rich, and religious, you want to give importance to certain criteria. And depending on your profile and to the existing insurance companies, we will have many types and many decision metrics. And depending to the score, people are going to choose one or another. Okay, I hope it's clear. So this is the simulation. In green, you have our insurance. We noticed that year after year, the number of clients of our insurance is increasing, while the conventional insurance is decreasing, month after month. But let's be realistic. We need to add some more realistic assumptions. For example, loyalty factor. We don't decide only because of because of the decision matrix, but some people remain loyal to their companies, especially old people. They may choose to stay with the conventional company even if there is another product which is better. So if we take it into consideration, and we will see that many clients will remain with their conventional companies. But to make it more realistic, we have added the effect of competitions, which means that when we will implement our model, the other existing companies will try to imitate it. So it will be also based on blockchain and have some specific characteristics, such as rapidity, etc. And if we take into consideration the effects of competition, this is the graph we obtain. It means they will all have many clients, and it won't be a huge difference between our Islamic insurance based on waqf and blockchain and the conventional insurance, which will be based on blockchain too. But if we take into consideration societies with a high average of religiosity, this is the result. I mean, we will have more clients and we will exceed the conventional insurance, but just out of religiosity. But actually, we shouldn't rely on the criteria of Sharia compliance only. We should compete by improving our services day after day to deal with rapid competition. Okay, so now let's move. All what we explained is the case of normal time. We have seen
around 5 to 6 minutes.
Sorry, doctor, we have 20 minutes in total, right?
No, you have 15 minutes. Okay, we can add 20. Okay, no problem.
Sorry, it was mentioned that it's 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay. So, okay. So now, what we explained was in normal time, insurance in normal time. What will happen during pandemic? We have chosen coronavirus pandemic as example, and this time we will model conventional insurance, takaful insurance, and waqf takaful. When I say takaful, I mean be it wakala, mudaraba takaful, or any types. And we have the waqf takaful. We have some hypotheses related to demography, to being vaccinated or not, hypotheses related to spread of the virus, and to reimbursements of people who suffered from financial loss and who will benefit from the insurance. Okay, so here is the algorithm of our simulation. We start first case of coronavirus, and the virus started spreading. In night logo, we can have this interaction between people, and wherever we have interaction with sick persons, if there is no interaction, no contamination. If yes, we will see if the person is vaccinated or not, if he have just recovered, to see if he is immune or not, and we will check his vulnerability. If it is very weak, so he will die. If it's not, he will recover and become immune, etc. And with this algorithm, we have simulated our virus propagation. Okay, and for the scenario, we have 3 scenarios. In the first scenario, we have the conventional insurance, which reimburse people who are COVID financial victim only if they are affiliated. For takaful insurance, the same thing. But for waqf takaful, the waqf fund is here to reimburse not only people who are affiliated, but also people who are very needy people, very poor people. We will give them a certain aid to actually realize the social impact desired. So this is the first scenario. We ran the scenario many times and to see the virus propagation and the percentage of people who are going to be reimbursed. Okay, I will go to a table who sum up the whole scenarios. Okay, scenario 1, conventional, approximately 10.8% are reimbursed because they suffered from financial losses related to COVID. Social reimbursements 0%. type of beneficiaries, policyholders. Scenario 2, even if it's takaful and not the conventional company, but actually social reimbursement goes only to policyholders. And that's why we need the waqf takaful, where we have 13% of people reimbursed and 10% of population is concerned with social reimbursement. So 80% are policyholders and 20% are needy people, because we have some added conditions, like if you are not affiliated to insurance, if you want to benefit from waqf takaful, we need to have a very critical social situation. Because if we give waqf takaful reimbursement to everyone, so later no one is going to be interested in contributing and giving premiums, except people who want to have to contribute in charity. So this table summed up the results. So as we said earlier, waqf takaful is efficient during pandemic context because it provides real social help to needy people. So actually, I don't have time to explain the next part. It's just related to vaccination or not. We have simulated vaccine and no vaccine to just show that vaccine is really important to stop the pandemic. And the relationship with insurance company is that we encourage companies to reduce premiums, for example, for vaccinated people, to give them some payments facilities, or to compensate needy people if they are already vaccinated, because it means that they are helping each other to stop the pandemic. It means that they are involved and responsible in stopping the virus. Okay, so our model based on blockchain is going to be transparent, efficient, which is going to satisfy clients who were complaining from the beginning of the ambiguity of activity, etc., and also resilient during pandemics and efficient in establishing social aid and social solidarity. So we recommend the insurance companies to be open and to learn from all the experiences of other countries during pandemics. And what I would like to add, we have to be ready for pandemic. We are no more tolerated to consider it as an unexpected event. No, we have to be prepared for it and to be actually proactive and not reactive, expect the worst case scenario, and of course move to digitalization because we really need it, and we have to go ahead and to improve our services if we want insurance companies to regain trust of their policy holders and to establish real social solidarity in our society. I hope it wasn't too long. So thank you very much. I will be glad to hear all your comments, your questions, your suggestions. Thanks again, and sorry for exceeding the time. Thank you very much.
Okay, Jazakallah khair, our sister Fatima. I like your confidence and I like the clarity in your presentation. You're so clear about your paper, what you really intend to achieve. That's something very great. Now I have to, I don't know whether to be democratic in choosing the discussant. Maybe it would be nice if we give opportunity to Dr. Rajaa first to give her views on the paper. Is she there with us? Hello?
Yes.
Is Dr. Rajaa there with us to give a comment on the paper? Is she? Okay, if yes, she's not there, then is Dr. Abdullahi there? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Yeah, because it's not time to invite the discussant of the paper. Can we invite Dr. Abdullahi to give his comment if he's there? Can you hear me? Dr. Sharif, are you there, Dr. Sharif?
Yes, I am here, Doctor.
Would you like to begin?
Yes, if the others are not available.
Yeah, because the other ones I'm calling them, they seem not to be around. Okay, تفضل يا دكتور.
Sure, maybe they are not in the room anymore.
طالبة ممكن ترفع الباوربوينت. طالبة ممكن ترفع الباوربوينت. جيد.
Well, I think all of those discussants, they are not here, if I'm not mistaken. So,
وعليكم السلام.
Alaikum salam. Yeah, I think they are not here anyway.
I am Dr. Adil Zarfi. After Sharif, I have a comment if you allow, Mr. Mustafa.
Okay, very good.
Okay.
Okay, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. يعني first of all, I would like to congratulate Sister Fatima for the presentation and also for choosing this topic. So I don't want to take much of time. I will go straight to some of the comments which I think that they might be useful, and also to clear some of the confusions which I have from the paper which we have received by email from the organizer of the conference or the forum. First, I would like to ask Fatima about the document which we have received. Is it a progress report which is extracted from your thesis, or it is thesis proposal? Because I was a little bit confused because I couldn't understand what is it. Is it Fatima, are you with us?
Yes.
Yeah, the document which we have received from the organizer, is it a progress report which is extracted from your thesis, or it is a thesis proposal, or?
It's a kind of summary of research paper, which I'm preparing right now.
So this is not part of your PhD?
Yes, actually, it's a part of my PhD. I'm working on it right now.
Okay. Okay, so because we had this confusion, and really, I couldn't, because we can't see the flow there in this in the document which we have received. So the flow is not clear there. I mean, if you start from the introduction and go on with the other titles, I couldn't see the flow there in the paper. So I don't know whether it was there was a problem in extracting and summarizing the informations, or I don't know what's the problem there. So this is the first comment. The second one is I would like to ask you, what is the difference, because this is also, we cannot see it in your paper. What is the difference between the model which you are proposing and the existing models, especially those that are proposed also, which are, takaful models, which are based on waqf. So this is also not clear in your work. And this will lead us actually to also mention that the research problem is not clear there. So that's why we can't link actually what you have written and also with the previous works on the same topic. The methodology also is not clear, and sources of data which you have used actually for the simulation, it's not also provided there. I'm talking about the papers, about the document which we have, it was shared with us. And talking about the model which you are actually developing, we can't see also the model there in the paper. It is not clear. So the model should be clear. The merits of the models also should be clear so that we can understand and we can follow what you are explaining in your paper. So these are all not clear actually. And before that, also going to talk about simulation, how did you validate the model? Because the model, if it's not validated, so how can you go to the next steps? So also when talking about the objective of your work, you mentioned actually that you are going to study the effectiveness of the model. So the effectiveness you can't study it without the validity of the model. So this is which I mentioned just now. So because the validity is not mentioned there, how did you validate the model? So we're missing that. I mean, there is something missing there. So coming also to the model, which is just I'm assuming a few things from what you have written. So you mentioned that the model is based on waqf, but because we are not provided with the model here in your work, so talking about the contribution from I don't know whether you call them the policyholders or what. So what is the intention of those contributors? Is it to build the waqf itself, or it is actually to contribute to the insurance? So talking here about the intention is from the Sharia perspective, so it should be clear as well. Okay, and also the premiums, are they a contribution to build the waqf, or it is a contribution to the insurance, means to insure themselves? So these are also interrelated. And these are just the few comments which I could write. And also you have mentioned in when you talked about the waqf takaful based on blockchain and as a model of insurance. So you have mentioned or you have been asking there some questions, but we can't find in your work the answers to those questions. Means that the model may face some of the issues, some of the problems in the implementation. So you have mentioned there some of the questions on those issues, but you didn't basically provide the answers. So how are you going to solve those issues if they are basically arise? So this is also you have provided us with the different hypotheses, but you didn't also mention how you're going to measure those hypotheses. So these are, I believe they are things which you need to make them clear. I don't know, either just because they are not mentioned in this summary, or you need to address them later, inshallah, in your work. So this is in summary. I don't want to go to the simulation because to me, I couldn't get those previous points, which are basically very important. So therefore, I couldn't go to the second part, which is the simulations and the results. So that's it from my part, inshallah, and I hope you success, inshallah, in your work. Thank you very much.
Jazakallah khair, Dr. Sharif. Sister Fatima, you would like to respond? You have any comments to make, or you are just noting them down?
As you like, if you want me to comment at the end or one by one, it's okay, as you like.
Thank
you
write
very
them
much,
Dr.
Sharif.
Yes,
you're welcome.
You write them down, and then, just now, Dr. Who I could not get the name, and just now wanted to give a comment, ya akhi.
Adil.
Adil.
But I think before that, I think Dr. Abdul-Ilah is here.
But
Dr.
I think
yes, I see the name of Dr. Abdul-Ilah maybe is first.
Normally after the professors.
After the professors, yes, that's fine.
In the end, please. In the end.
Exactly. So Dr. Ilahi,
if can Fatima Zahra use the camera all the time for this. Fatima Zahra, please.
Dr. Ilahi, is she there?
Sorry, she.
Dr. Ilahi, is he there?
Abdul-Ilah, yes?
Yes, I am I have a problem with my computer, but I use my phone. Thank you.
Yeah.
Should we intervene in this moment?
You want to comment first or no? Dr. Abdullahi?
As you like.
Yes, I think you can comment first, and then we'll give to Dr. Rajaa to be the third person.
Thank you. Donc, Dr. Sharif, it's a long time that I don't use my English conversation, and I prefer to intervene in Arab because I think that it's very fast for me because I say that it's a long time I don't speak in English. Donc, je vais parler plutôt اعتذر. دونك التدخل ديالي غادي يكون باللغه العربيه ربما افضل، لان هذه مده ما استعملت الانجليزيه. بالتالي دونك اتوندي وبالتالي الموضوع هو جد مهم وطلعت عليه، وهو فعلا موضوع يحتوي على مجموعه من المعلومات، والنموذج الذي استعملته الطالبة في البحث في بحثها لدراسة التكافل الوقفي هو استعمال جيد، ولكن هنالك بعض الملاحظات خفيفة وربما من جانب ربما شرعي ونظري، وبالتالي نعود إلى النموذج. أولا استعمال النموذج الوقف أو التكافل الوقفي، الطريقة التي قدمت بها أنه المساهمة ديال الأعضاء في هذا التكافل هو أن الأعضاء هم مجبرون دائما لأداء الوقف في مراحل متعددة، وهذا يخالف ربما موضوع الوقف، لأن الوقف هو في حد ذاته تطوعي، وإذا صار إجباري ربما لا أظن أنه وقف لا يمكن أن نسميه وقف. هذه نقطة ربما أشرت إليها في موضوعك، وربما تحتاج إلى المناقشة. النقطة الثانية هي دائما في نفس الاتجاه، عندما نقول التأمين التشاركي ونتكلم عن التأمين التشاركي، تتكلمين أيضا على شريحة أخرى من المجتمع التي تستفيد من هذا التأمين التشاركي، علما أن عندما نتكلم عن التأمين التشاركي يكون محددا مسبقا طريقة أو الموضوع التأمين الذي ستستفيد منه هذه الشريحة ولا يستفيد منه المشاركون في هذا التأمين. وبالتالي عندما نتكلم عن التأمين الوقفي، الوقف يمكن من تمويل صندوق التكافل، وربما سيستفيد منه الأعضاء الذين هم شاركوا في الوقف، وهنا أيضا ربما الاستفادة من وقفك ربما أيضا فيها كلام. ونعود لمن سيستفيد في الطريقة في الشريحة الأخرى التي هي ربما شريحة لا تملك إمكانيات للمشاركة لدفع الوقف. وهذه الشريحة ما هو نوع التأمين الذي سنعطيها له؟ ربما في نموذجك وفي مثال التي أعطيتي مثال كوفيد 19، مثال ديال الوباء ديال كوفيد 19. في غير حالة الكوفيد 19 مثلا مثال آخر نريد مثلا أن تستفيد من هذه الشريحة، أو السيارات مثلا، تأمين السيارات لا يمكن، لأن الشريحة التي تريد تأمين السيارات غير ذلك. ومثال واقعي اللي يمكننا من استعمال النموذج ديال الطريقة التي طرحته. هذا هنا ربما أنا عندي هذا التساؤل أيضا بالنسبة للاستعمال ذكرتي النقود الرقمية، فأيضا النقود الرقمية فيها مشاكل شرعية، وهل يمكن استعمال النقود؟ ليس هنالك رأي وشرع جانب شرعي الذي يجيز لاستعمال النقود الرقمية بشكل مباشر إلى غير ذلك. فهنالك لا زالت العديد من المناقشات، هل هي أصلا نقود أو غير نقود، أم هي أصول للتجارة إلى غير ذلك. فاستعمال النقود أيضا الرقمية ليس من الأمر الآن على الأقل في المرحلة الراهنة من الأمور المسلمة بصلاحيتها في التعامل بالمالية الإسلامية. هذا جانب آخر. وكما ذكرت بالنسبة للنموذج العام الذي طرحته هو طريقة البلوك تشين التي استعملت بها هو السمارت كونترا انسيد سويت. ممكن في هذا النموذج في هذا الجانب بالضبط كما ذكرت أعطيتنا نموذجا واقعا على كوفيد-19. فمجموعة من لي زيبوتيز ولا لي زيبوتيز يمكن أن تتغير بشكل كبير، تتغير بشكل سريع، وبالتالي فالنموذج هو صورة مؤقتة لحالة معينة، وبالتالي لا يمكن أن نبني مشروع الذي هو مشروع تأمين تكافلي بالوقف على نقول صورة مؤقتة لمرحلة معينة، والنتائج ستكون ربما ظرفية وليس نتائج اللي هي يمكن بناء عليها نموذج كهذه. وربما هذه ملاحظة تقدر تكون فيها مناقشة إلى غير ذلك. أشكركم جزيلا وأعطي الكلمة للدكتور. أشكر جميع الحضور وأعطي الكلمة للدكتور مصطفى. شكرا جزيلا.
جزاكم الله خير to Dr. الإله. I think these were good comments, Sister Fatima. You note them down, especially those Sharia aspects, and then the use of cryptocurrencies for generating the model. I think these are very, very important areas that he has mentioned. Now I would like to invite Dr. Rajaa for her comment. Please, you're welcome.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Mustafa Omar. I sincerely thank our colleague, especially Dr. Monsif Ben Tayyib, who have been organizing these events for years and who have given us the opportunity to participate and to benefit from colleagues and experts in the field of finance and Islamic economy. Indeed, Fatima Zahra took advantage of the constructive comments and suggestions given by experts last year, and she developed a smart contract based on waqf. And as suggested last year, and she is finalizing an article on this approach. I thank very much all colleagues participating today in the discussion. Dr. Mustafa Omar, Dr. Mohammed Sharif, and Dr. العطار for their suggestion, their proposition. And of course, all the suggestion will be constructive, and Fatima Zahra sure will answer and enrichir and her work will be more rich after using the suggestion of colleagues. I will answer in Arabic to our colleague العطار. ملاحظة الأستاذ في الصميم، ونحن لسنا اختصاصيين في الشريعة، ولدينا هذا النقص الذي لا بد أن نستفيد من أخصائيين في هذا الميدان. وكما بالنسبة للبانديميك، بالنسبة للحالة الخاصة التي أخذتها بعين الاعتبار فاطمة الزهراء في عملها، هي طبعا حالة خاصة، لكن هناك عبر الزمن حالات خاصة كثيرة يمكن أن نقيس على هذه الحالة الخاصة، وبطبيعة الحال لن تكون نفس يعني بالضبط نفس الهيبوثيسيس، لكن ستكون في حالة خاصة أخرى يمكن أن نقيس على هذه الحالة. بطبيعة الحال النموذج سيتغير بعض الشيء، لكن أظن الدراسة هي لذلك قدمت في أول عملها النموذج في الحالة العامة، وفي الأخير الحالة الخاصة التي هي حالة المرض هذه أو حالة البانديميك. وشكرا جزيلا، شكرا جزيلا. أترك الكلمة للأساتذة إذا كان هناك أساتذة يريدون التداخل أو إعطائنا بعض الملاحظات، وكذلك بطبيعة الحال لفاطمة الزهراء لتجيب على بعض الملاحظات. شكرا جزيلا دكتور عمر، دكتور مصطفى عمر.
Thank you very much. I think this was also very important comment. Now, before I give to others, like we have certain words in Sudanese, they said, Al-Mushkatib ma baktub nafsu shay'in. That means the secretary has to have nasib from this session. Before I open to others, let me have some comments to Sister Zahra. Then, inshallah, I'll open to others. I first of all, I said it's a good effort. Normally in research, people will choose, this is our experience with PhD students. Either they begin with the data, then they go backwards. Some will begin developing from the beginning, then they collect the data. So I think looking from the work of Sister Zahra, she's excited by the data. And then behind the data, a lot of things need to be done to tie it to the data. And this was also a comment made by Dr. Sharif. In fact, when you started your presentation, I was very happy because you showed the motive of your study, which was very good. Why there's a need to study this work and why people are dissatisfied with the current insurance. I was excited. Now, I thought the next step you'll move in is to give us the problem of the study, which Dr. Sharif has mentioned, meaning what is it that is new that you're contributing that the existing studies have not done? Because this is very important. We call it a research gap. In other words, you have meta-analysis of the literature for 5, 6, 7 years, and then you see where do you come in to contribute. Because if somebody asks you, why do you need to develop this new model? Does it exist or not? And then again, to what Dr. Sharif has mentioned, you could have had 2 of those models. You have what we call theoretical model, because I see in your references, there are 3 papers from which you have cited this model on waqf and wakala, etc. So you need to put that theoretical model for us to see. Then you say, based on this, I added this. What are the addition to that model? Then this becomes your conceptual model. Then once it is your conceptual model and you control the model very well, then you start, giving us how your data applies to this. And then you also need to justify why the COVID pandemic situation in particular, why not other situation? In your work, you did not justify why you chose pandemic. And then also your conclusion is very important about the pandemic or the methodology. Usually, methodology is wasila.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you. What did you say about the conclusion?
You can hear me?
No, just in the conclusion. You said in the conclusion? Yes. What?
I said in the conclusion. Can you hear me now? Can you hear?
Yes.
Okay. In the conclusion, you mentioned about the pandemic. You are saying to reward those who are vaccinated, reduce their premium, and then against those who are not vaccinated. Now, if you see this conclusion, try to look at it at the work. You cannot tie them. You cannot tie anything that. And secondly, when everybody has suffered in the pandemic, why do you need only to reduce the premium of one person when all of them are paying the premium? Then thirdly, where is the waqf here? Where is the tabarru here? Because tabarru doesn't see this is vaccination, this is not vaccination. Tabarruat is for everybody. So this becomes another issue. Then coming to your simulation, which you have done, it is good you use the net logo, and usually many people use it for business, for engineering, etc. Now, again, like Dr. Sharif says, usually in simulation, you have a scenario either of the data, or you try to increase the data. You have certain sources of data, and you try to increase so that we know how it evolves over the year. Now, when I look at your results, which you mentioned certain percentage, okay? You mentioned reimbursement 10%, and I don't know, social reimbursement 0.0. Do you remember that one which you showed? Okay. So now we want to see, the sources of data that help you to arrive at that conclusion, like Dr. Sharif says. So if the sources of data is not there, we don't know where you took the data. Did you take it from insurance company? How did you collect the data? Did you source it from the internet, the big data? Did you what? So that source of data is very important for us to know what exactly you are referring to. Now, the final thing which I would like to comment, and which Dr. Sharif has said, is about your hypothesis. It doesn't tie to the model, first of all, because the hypothesis is almost like a kind of an objective that you're stating. It doesn't tie because you cannot measure them, because hypothesis has to be measurable. This is one. Secondly, it has to tie to the model that you are measuring, and which Dr. Sharif rightly mentioned. And then you have until H7. So what variables is it tied to that you're measuring, and how does it connect to your model? And then in the end, in your result, you did not tell us whether those hypotheses are supported or not supported. You don't find it in the results. Okay? We would like to know, okay, hypothesis 1, how did you test it? Did it support? Hypothesis 2, and usually hypotheses we develop from the literature and look at the past work and see how you want to emulate those hypotheses. And then finally, you did I don't know, you have to tell me whether I'm right or wrong. You did, it seems, 2 kinds of simulation, right? One, you wanted to see the benefits of insurance, etc., using rapidity and all those things, which you showed us in the model. Then the second one is the one which you did on what do you call it? On knowing the use of those the scenario, the 3 scenarios. Am I right or wrong? You will correct me the way I understood from the paper. Now, you may help to improve the paper. You have to say the connection between the first simulation that you did and then the second simulation. How do they link? To me, generally, wallahi, I think the paper is very, very, the contribution is good. The area is excellent. And we really need that area. The only thing now, which is a lot of loose areas. Here is loose, here is loose. How to put them so that you have a bigger picture and it comes to a concrete work. I think this is where the challenge. On the data side, and mashallah, you have a lot of strength there. But when it comes to the literature, the research problem, the methodology, so nobody sees the flow on how you develop your work. So in short, that is my observation. And later I'll give you time to respond to them. Meanwhile, I give chance now to Dr. Adil. Dr. Adil wanted to say something, and then after that, Sister Fatima, you will be given a chance to respond. Is Adil there? Dr. Adil is there.
السلام عليكم دكتور مصطفى. السلام دكتور شريف. No, it's okay. I just wanted to fill the gap. Now, Dr. Ila and Dr. Rajaa already give the comments. So I have just some little comments about the forms. I will send it directly to Fatima Zahra, inshallah. Thank you and good luck.
Jazakumullah khair. Okay. Okay. Sister Fatima, you would like to... any other person are there? These are how many we have in the group? And there are two more. Are there people who want to comment before Sister Fatima can respond? Okay, I think Sister Fatima, you can, you want to say something, or before maybe we have around two for the other, the discussions. Okay, تفضلي.
Okay, so thank you very much, Dr. Sharif, Dr. Omar, and Dr. Al-Ilah. First, your comments are very interesting, and you asked some questions that put me to think, to add some aspects. And as you said, I think that the paper wasn't clear enough compared to the presentation. I hope the presentation was clearer. Especially when Dr. Sharif talks about the problematic. Maybe it wasn't quite clear in the paper, but I think in the presentation I talked about it, the problematic of the problem of insurance companies, be it in normal time or in the coronavirus we are living today. You asked me about the added value compared to the existing models. Of course, this is new and innovative. We don't have any model that suggests waqf takaful based on blockchain, but maybe it should be clear to say, to see the literature and see that's what already exists and that we add to make it clearer. Because as I said, we have waqf chains, for example, blockchain based on waqf. We think about applications, about insurance and blockchain, but waqf takaful based on blockchain and smart contracts with the characteristics and criteria we explained before, and with the challenges we face, and that the solutions we gave, such as for the scoring system for oracles, etc. So we have an added value. Maybe it should be just explained in more details. For its intention of building waqf, the intention of policy holders, is it to contribute in the waqf fund or just to pay premiums? They will know right from the beginning that they will contribute in waqf takaful. Actually, many papers were criticizing the already existing takaful models, because they say, for example, for mudaraba takaful, you can't contribute or give premiums and be considered at the same time as a capital for mudaraba and at the same time as a donation, because one of the principles of takaful in general is that premiums are considered as donations. So when you say donations, it's linked to tabarru'. That's why we link it to the waqf fund. And as Dr. Rajaa said, it was the suggestion of Dr. Omar Al-Kattani, yes, Dr. Kattani. He last year he suggested me to implement waqf takaful, and not only takaful, because it reflects more the social impact. Hypothesis. I answer at the same time to the comments of Dr. Sharif and Dr. Omar, because we have many intersections between them. You asked me about hypothesis. Some data were extracted from Morocco, like the demography, the percentage of, for example, unemployment, as long as we deal with the financial crisis and people who are going to lose their jobs, etc. So some data are linked to the population of Morocco, and others are hypotheses, for example, for the spread of the virus. As I explained, I didn't use data of the spread of the virus, but I simulated the spread of the virus. Like when you interact with people with someone who is sick, you will be sick too. If he is immune, if he is not. So I generated the data, if you want to say that. So for problematic data, why COVID-19? Yes, Dr. Mustafa Omar said why COVID-19. I think actually it was just an idea at the beginning of the pandemic. Maybe it will be interesting to tackle this subject, to see the impact of insurance on the social crisis that we are living. And actually it was a good idea, because we at the beginning we weren't expected that the impacts will be huge. So we can no more say that it's just a special case or unexpected events, because we are living since 2 years or 3 years the impacts, and we are still living right now the impacts of those pandemics. So it's no more tolerable that to consider pandemics or crisis as something exceptional. Actually, many papers talks about this issue, because they say in general we build models of insurance or models in general. We build them based on normal time, and crisis is just exception. But now we need to think about those exceptions, because the impacts is very heavy, and we can no more say it will just be a very short period of time, because the impacts will last for years and years. They can about vaccination. Yes, maybe you're right. Actually, about vaccination, actually, it's just because when I simulated the spread of the virus with the people who are vaccinated and not, I've seen the importance of vaccination. That's why I had this idea of telling people, if you are vaccinated, we will reduce premiums. But actually, you are right, Dr. Omar. It's when it's tabarru', normally you shouldn't put conditions on it. So maybe you're right. It's not important to add this detail. So now I've answered to some. So I will take into consideration your remarks, Dr. Sharif and Dr. Omar. And for Dr. الإله, I will answer in Arabic to answer in the same language. So Dr. الإله. قلتم شكرا على ملاحظتكم الطيبة. قلتم أن الوقف يظل تطوعي ولا يجب أن يؤدى إجباريا كل مرة. نعم، يعني مبدئيا الوقف عمل تطوعي، يعني لا يجب أن تكون هنالك يعني إجبارات أو إكراهات على الأشخاص الذين يؤدون البريميومز أو الدونيشنز أن يؤدوها في كل مرة. لكن هذا ليس إجباري، لأن المشارك أو البوليسي هولدر، يعني الشخص الذي سيستفيد من هذا التأمين التكافلي الوقفي، يعني هو اختيار، يمكنه أن يوقف هذا التأمين بهذا الشكل في أي لحظة. لكن إذا أراد فإنه يجدد العقد، يعني في كل سنة يجدد التبرعات التي يعطيها، يعني تظل اختياري. أنا فهمت قصدكم أنه لا يمكن أن يربط التأمين بعمل تطوعي، لكن هذا التأمين الذي نتحدث عنه ليس إجباريا. يعني ما دام ليس إجباريا، أظن أنه ليس هنالك مشكل في أن يكون هذا التأمين الوقفي. وهذه التجربة يعني موجودة في بعض الدول ديال التأمين الوقفي بصفة عامة. بالنسبة للنقود الرقمية، أشرت إليها في Are we obliged to use cryptocurrency؟ أشرت إليها في هذا البرزنتيشن. كانت هذا السؤال كنت طرحته بدوري على الأستاذ دكتور سامي السويلم عندما كانت لدينا دورة تدريبية في مختبر المالية الإسلامية، وقدمها الدكتور سامي السويلم، فسر لنا أنه لا يجب ربط البلوك تشين بالكريبتوكارنسي. مثلا البيتكوين أو الكريبتوكارنسي بصفة عامة هو تطبيق من تطبيقات البلوك تشين، ولكن احنا نريد أن نستفيد من خاصيات أخرى، من العقود الذكية، من يعني الشفافية، من المصداقية اللي كاينة في هذه التكنولوجيا. وبالنسبة لهذا المشكل يمكن كنا اقترحنا أن يكون مثلا exchange offices، يعني بمثابة مكاتب تحول لك مثلا هذه النقط كون دي بوين دو فيداليتي. مثلا بدل أن تتلقى في الوالت تتلقى في المحفظة واحد العدد من الكريبتو كارنسيز، لا تتلقى نقط، وتلك النقط يمكن أن تسحب من خلالها عن طريق ديكيشي أوتوماتيك أو لمكاتب يعني كتصرفها وكتاخذ نقود كاش. يعني فقط يمكن أن تكون المسألة الكريبتو كارنسي فقط رمزية، ولا نحتاج إلى استعمال النقود الرقمية. أشرتم كذلك إلى شونجمون دي زيبوتيز أنها مرحلة مؤقتة. بالنسبة يعني الكوفيد 19 الأهمية ديال الموديل هو أنه في طيلة الموديل يعني كاين بزاف عدة بارامترز يمكن تغييرها. مثلا يعني بدءا من السيموليشن الأولى فإنه يمكن أن تغير البوبوليشن، تغير النوع الأشخاص، تغير يعني السن والعمر، الريليجيوزيتي يعني مستوى التدين يمكن أن تغيره، يعني what we call sliders. يعني الموديل est ديناميك، يمكن تغيير هاد البارامترز واسقاطها على ربما ازمات اخرى لاحقه كسوا يعني بانديميكس اتيه او اي ازمه اخرى. يعني يمكن ان لا يظل هذا الموديل فيجي، وانما يمكن اسقاطه على عده اشكاليات اخرى. وشكرا مجددا لدكتور شريف والدكتور عمر وجميع الدكاتره والدكتوره رجاء ابو العيش والدكتور عبد الإله، المهم الجميع حتى لا انسى اي اسم، على جميع الملاحظات التي قمت بتدوينها، وان شاء الله سناخذها بعين الاعتبار، والاسئله التي طرحت كانت جد مهمه. وشكرا مجددا، واتمنى ان يكون البحث في المستوى، والسلام عليكم.
Thank you very much. Now I'm giving 1 or 2 minutes each to our discussant for the last word before we wrap up, inshallah. We have only 9 minutes left. Dr. Sharif would like to give the last word in 1 or 2 minutes to
thank
Dr.
you very much, Sister Fatima, for the clarifications and the answers. But I still believe, yani, from your answers, you make us more confused actually on some of the points, because here when you're talking about the waqf takaful-based model, so basically if, as you mentioned, if the policyholders, they are not obliged basically to pay the premiums, that means the model is not going to be sustainable. It might stop anytime. This is one point. And if they are actually obliged to pay, then it's no longer a waqf, because here they have to contribute on periodically, so they are obliged to do that. And why I said it is not sustainable, because you mentioned actually this model is going to cover the whole population. It's not only those contributors. So that means you will have a serious problem actually in the model. So this you have to take them into considerations. Plus, and also the Sharia issues which have been mentioned by Dr. Abdul-Ilah. So I think you need to make these things clear actually in your work. Thank you very much.
Okay, Dr. Abdul-Ilah, you have something to add?
شكرا جزيلا. ربما الطالبة راه فهمت المعنى ديالي اللي ذكرت، لأنه عندما نتكلم عن التأمين أو شركة التأمين بصفة عامة، وخصوصا التأمين التكافلي، إن هناك استثمارات، هنالك العديد من الأمور التي تأتي من بعد أداء الواجبات، وبالتالي لا يمكن أن تبني على تبني يعني مشروع الاستثمار ديال التأمين التكافلي على شيء غير قار، خصوصا مدخلات وما تبرع. إذا أراد أن يتبرع فهذا أو لا يتبرع. وغالبا في الظن في مرحلة الأزمات يكون مجموعة من هذا الناس اللي غادي يتبرعوا كيكون عندهم مشاكل مالية، لأنهم أصلا هما الآخرين غادي تلحقهم الأزمة. وبالتالي ربما هذه المرحلة ديال الأزمة غادي يكون هذاك المشروع ديال التأمين التكافلي كله هو الآخر يدخل في أزمة، لأنه ما غاديش يتمكن باش يكون عنده الإمكانات باش يوقف. خصوصا إذا تكلمنا هذا مشروع تأمين تكافلي لحل الأزمات الكبرى. ما ذكرناش ربما في العمل ديالك واش هذا المشروع ديال الوقف التكاملي مبني على البلوكتشين هو خاص بالأزمات، أو ربما يمكن أن يستعمل في مشاريع أخرى أو في تأمينات أخرى اللي هي يومية أو عادية، مثل التأمين كما قلنا في بناء على شراء المنازل أو السيارات أو الأمراض أو غير ذلك من الأمور. وشكرا جزيلا للجميع.
Thank you very much. Yes, Dr. Rajaa.
أستاذ من فضلك هل يمكن أن أضيف تعقيب؟ Sorry.
Yes, Dr. Rajaa.
شكرا جزيلا دكتور عمر. كل الدكاترة الذين تفضلوا بإعطاء ملاحظاتهم واقتراحاتهم. بالطبع هو مشروع تكافل مبني على الوقف، ولكن ليس فقط لوقت الأزمات. لذلك قدمت الطالبة الباحثة النموذج في الأحوال العادية ولا في الحالة العادية قبل أن تتكلم عن النموذج في حالة الأزمة الخاصة التي هي أزمة البانديميك الحالية. وبطبيعة الحال ليس المهم هو أن يكون نموذجا يمكن أن نستعمله في الحالات العادية أولا، ويمكن كذلك استعماله في حالات الأزمات الخاصة. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Omar, and I thank another.
أكرر بالشكر يعني.
أكرر بالشكر all the participants and especially Dr. Sharif, Dr. الإله and Dr. Omar.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so just another 2 minutes. I will, Sister Fatima. I think you had very, very good, mashallah, contribution from everybody. I just would like to give an advice, as an experienced brother and in the field of academics. I think you need to go and look at the problem of your study. This is really very serious. Because if the problem is not well defined, you'll be, doing a lot of things which people may not be able to see your contributions. The second thing you need to look at is the model, which I agree with Dr. Sharif and others, because people will judge you on the model. And even your topic says you're developing a model, but nobody sees that model. So it defeats even the purpose of the title. So you really need to look into those models and see how the shape of your model looks like. And then the third thing is the data, because we also judge your work based on the data. Who are your respondents? What is their criteria? Where did you collect the data from? How did you, validate, look at the validity and of those data? A lot of things are related to the data, which we want to see, and then to judge the work of your study. And finally, usually many PhD students, they will say, since there's no work on blockchain takaful, so this is the problem. This is not the problem. Sometimes there's no work because it's not important. So you have to justify why it is important. If there's no work, tell us why you think it's important. It's not just enough to say there's no model, okay? So thank you very much, Sister Fatima. It's a very good work, and you just put a lot of efforts into it, and really we are very happy. Inshallah, next time you present, it will be something very, very great, and you have a lot of potential in you, your confidence and the way you express, and really this gives me a lot of hope for this generation, and may Allah help you, and inshallah you'll do a very good work. So now I give back the Jalsa to the person who has given the Jalsa to me. So I'm giving the Amana back. Amana li ahliha. So
thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much, Dr.
Alaikum salam.
For your participation. هذه الندوة الحمد لله، هذه الجلسة مرت في ظروف جيدة كما كنا نتوقع، وأنا أهنئ الطالبة الباحثة فاطمة الزهراء ومن ورائها أستاذة المشرفة عليها أستاذة رجاء أبو العيش، ومن ورائها مختبر الهندسة المالية بالمدرسة المحمدية للمهندسين، ومن ورائها المعهد البنك الإسلامي للتنمية على هذا التميز. حقيقة هذا تميز، فنحن مسرورون بأن يصل طلبتنا إلى هذا المستوى من البحث. حقيقة الملاحظات التي قدمها الأساتذة هي ملاحظات قيمة كلها، وتابعت جزءا منها. وعلى عبدك أنا أهتم بموضوع الوقف المبني على تأمين تكافلي مبني على الوقف، ويمكنك فاطمة الزهراء أن تراجعيني في مكتبي في أي وقت إن شاء الله، وإن شاء الله لأن من المواضيع التي أهتم بها، وأرى بالنسبة لي أرى أحسن نموذج لتطبيق التأمين التكافلي. هذا اقتناعي، وأنا أدرس هذا منذ 6 سنوات تقريبا في الجامعة، وألح على هذا النموذج. إذا إن شاء الله ممكن أن أراجعك. فأنت من المحظوظين لأنك شرفت السنة الماضية بمناقشة الدكتور محمد كبير حسن والدكتور سامي السويلم والدكتور عمر كتاني، والآن ما شاء الله الدكتور مصطفى عمر، أستاذة رجاء أبو العيش، أستاذ محمد شريف، أستاذ عبد الإله، العطار، كلهم قامات علمية ما شاء الله. وعلى ذكر الأستاذ عبد الإله العطار، هو لم يتكلم بالعربية، لكن لو دخلتم إلى جوجل سكولار فستجدون له بحوث كثيرة باللغة الإنجليزية. لكن الذي يروقني في المدرسة المحمدية للمهندسين، وأنا تبعت عدة مرات مناقشة الرسائل الدكتوراه، وهي أن الطالب الباحث يقدم ورقته باللغة الإنجليزية، لكن الأساتذة أغلبهم يناقشونه باللغة الفرنسية. هذا ما لاحظته، فقليلا ما يتم مناقشة الطالب باللغة الإنجليزية. على كل حال نحن نطور لغتنا في المغرب، لأن مع كل الأسف لغتنا هي اللغة الإنجليزية، وبالتالي الطالبة حينما كانت تجيب الأستاذ عبد الإله العطار كانت تستعمل الفرنسية، وهي تنسى بأن معنا ضيف يتقن الإنجليزية والعربية، ولا ندري هل له دراية بالفرنسية أم لا. فهذه ملاحظة يجب كذلك التنبؤ إليها. لكن في المدرسة المحمدية أنا كما قلت الطالبة تقدم بحثها باللغة الإنجليزية، ويتم مناقشتها باللغتين، وما شاء الله تكون في غالب الأحيان مناقشات ذات مستوى عالي. والذي يميز هذه المدرسة، والأستاذة رجاء هي أدرى مني وأحسن مني للحديث عن هذا، وهو أن الطالب حينما يناقش 3 أوراق ويتم نشر هذه الأوراق في مجلة محكمة يحصل على درجة الدكتوراه. وهذا النموذج يختلف تماما عما يجري عليه في باقي الجامعات المغربية، وأنا أفضل هذا النموذج التي تسير عليه الجامعة مدرسة المحمدية للمهندسين، لأنه الأستاذة فاطمة مسكيني أخذت بعين الاعتبار الملاحظات التي قدمت لها في هذه الندوة في السنة الماضية وطورت بحثها، وهذا ما نتمناه. هذا إذن حينما نصل إلى هذا المستوى من تفاعل الباحث والأستاذ المشرف معه، وأن تكون له الشجاعة ويطلب مرة أخرى المشاركة في هذه الندوة، فنكون قد وصلنا إلى درجة عالية إن شاء الله في مستوى هذه الندوة الدولية، الذي نبتغي أن حقيقة أن يكون لها هذا الطابع الدولي. وأنا أعتذر عن أنا لا أتكلم إلا اللغة الفرنسية غالبا، وقليلا اللغة العربية، لكن اللغة الإنجليزية لم أوفق فيها، فمعذرة لكم ولإخواني. وكنت أتمنى أن تكون لي لغة إنجليزية أستطيع الحديث بها، لكن لم أوفق في هذا، رغم أنني أطلع على الكتابات وأتابع ما ينشر. لكن كما قال الأستاذ العطار، اللغة الإنجليزية تحتاج إلى الممارسة اليومية، وأنا حتى حينما كنت في دول الخليج كان عملي كله باللغة العربية، هو لم تكن لي الممارسات باللغة الإنجليزية إلا نادرا. وبالتالي فأنا أشكركم جميعا على هذه المشاركة الطيبة. أشكر كذلك الجهات المنظمة والداعمة لهذا الملتقى. وأتمنى من الله سبحانه وتعالى أن نلقاكم في فرص مقبلة، كما أتمنى أن تكون الجامعة الإسلامية بماليزيا من المشاركين إن شاء الله بقوة في هذه الندوة من خلال عروض باللغة الإنجليزية، لأن في المغرب على كل حال هناك المدرسة المحمدية للمهندسين، لكن الجامعات الأخرى كذلك لدينا طلبة يقدمون أوراق باللغة الإنجليزية، لكن تبقى قليلة نسبيا، لأن الصعوبة هي من يؤطر هذه الرسائل باللغة الإنجليزية. أنا أؤطر بعض الرسائل باللغة الإنجليزية مع الطلبة، لكن ما شاء الله لغتهم وسميتو أحسن مني بكثير. قد أتحاور معهم في الموضوع، في صلب الموضوع، لكن يبقى دائما أن الطالب الذي يكتب ويتحدث له قدرة على التفاعل بهذه اللغة بسرعة. إذن أشكركم مجددا على هذه المشاركة الطيبة، وأرجع لكم الكلمة أستاذي مصطفى عمر لختم هذه الجلسة العلمية بحول الله.
آمين يا رب. Okay, جزاكم الله خير. Thank you very much for everybody, and we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless our جلسة. اللهم اجعل هذا جمعنا جمعا مغفورا وتفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما، ولا تجعل فينا ولا منا شقيا ولا محروما، وموفقين إن شاء الله. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. حفظكم.
عليكم السلام. شكرا جزيلا.
مرحبا. السلام عليكم.
شكرا الدكتور منصف، راه ما شكرناكش انت المجهودات ديالك.
الله يحفظكم. الله يحفظكم. الله يوفقكم. تبارك الله عليكم. السلام عليكم.
شكرا جزيلا للجميع.
فرصة طيبة.
شكرا جزيلا للجميع.
طيبة. أستاذ رجاء وأستاذ فاطمة.
شكرا جزيلا.
فرصة طيبة.
فرصة طيبة. فرصة طيبة.
رجاء الملاحظات. شكرا.
مرحبا. مرحبا. السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام.